welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be talking to you guys about the books that I read in September and the books that I'm planning on reading in October. And I ended up reading I want to say 13 books this month, which is like triple what I usually read. So I'm gonna try to make this fast and not get into the depth of my thoughts on the books. I also did not post reviews for most of these books because they came out in 2016. So yikes. I don't really want to waste any time, so just make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It'd be super cool, super fun, super great. But without further ado, let's get into this September wrap up and October TBR. I talked about a few of these in my last video, so if you want to know more of my thoughts, just go check that out. But things have gotten worse since we last spoke. A sapphic horror book. I should have saved it for October, but I really wanted to read it. It was good, all right, I guess, 3 stars. The writing wasn't that magnificent. It was ugly most of the way through, and listen, I would love a scary book. I'd love a terrible, awful, scary book, but I want one that's well written. I don't want just words slapped together to make a nasty little narrative. I want a good story that's written with care, I'd say. Next, I read The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. Don't fucking look at me. It was 4 stars. Would have been 5 stars if I didn't have to picture that man's face. And I haven't even seen those movies, but his face has dominated the internet for the past however many years, and it just literally would not get out of my brain. So I just kept picturing him the whole time, and it was so terrible. I literally went on Pinterest and found just some random dark-haired guy and just stared at him for 10 minutes you are the love interest, and it did not fucking work. But I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the writing, the romance, the characters. It was all really good. The only fault was that I just could not stop picturing that guy, and I don't want to even say his name on here, but yeah. And I love jealousy, protective, pining books, and this gave me that. So reluctantly, I really recommend it. Next, I read The Year We Fell Down by Sarina Bowen. It was pretty good, 4 stars, about a girl who used to play hockey and then got a spinal injury her senior year of high school and uses a wheelchair now. And then a guy at college, she's just moved in, and across the hall, he has a broken leg. It's actually pretty good. My mom made me read this, and I enjoyed it for the most part. If you ignore the misogyny in there, then it's good. But I'm feminist until I open up a romance book, then it's fair game. Fucking whatever. But yeah, I honestly recommend it. I'm planning on reading the second one at some point, which is a book about one of the side characters in here. That's a whore and then he falls in love, which I'm obsessed with, is when the guy is a whore and then he falls in love, because I don't fucking know. It's super cute. Next, I read The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. This is a Wattpad book that got turned into an actual published book. And I absolutely fucking hated it. I gave it 1 star. It was so goddamn boring. It's a Wattpad book that you'd read in an hour in middle school because you were bored and it was just some random one you found. And it'd be decent if you were 13 and easily amused. It was just so fucking boring. There was nothing interesting about it. The author relied on the characters' family drama to make the book interesting, and it didn't. So it just felt like whoever wrote this, it felt like a 16-year-old wrote it. I finished it in 2 hours. It was very visibly written by someone with no creativity at all. Sorry, I'm being harsh, but I did not like this at all. Next, I read the Simon Snow trilogy. I read the whole entire thing in about 4 days, so super cool. But bro, okay, I started this series and I was like, this is gonna be 2 stars. I was like, I can already feel it. This is written so terribly. It's so awful. I read that the villain's name was the Humdrum and I was like, this is the worst. Like, I hated the writing. I hated the Rainbow Rowell trying to sound like she knew anything about England or British people in general. And I was like, how am I gonna read this whole fucking series? And then my knight in shining armor, Baz Pitch. Hello, he came in and it immediately like turned the story around for me. Like the tone just like, I don't even know. It was reinvented the second we got a Baz point of view. Like, I do not know how he did it, but he made all of the books 4 stars for me. So that romance was incredible. I will say Wayward Son was the worst out of all of them. I don't see why people like despise it more than they despised Carry On. But I guess maybe the lack of plot might have contributed to it, but whatever. I still thought it was like cute and like we got to see growth for Simon. But bro, this fucking book, like the breakup, the intimate scenes. One of the most intimate scenes in a book I've ever read in my life was the first scene where Baz and Simon are like making out, and then Simon just like breaks down into like tears, and it just, oh my god, like that was incredible. I don't understand it. I don't understand how a book series that started off so terribly could like own me now, but holy shit, it does. Anyways, yeah, I really did like it. I fucking love Baz and Simon, like they are everything to me. I'm even considering reading Fangirl just to get like glimpses of Baz and Simon in the other series, because I'm guessing this is like a rainbow verse, which I fucking hate saying, but whatever. But yeah, that's what I thought of the Simon Snow trilogy. Let me know if you guys have read it and like what you thought of each of the books, because I kind of really want to know. Like, I've just seen so many differing opinions about it, and it's got like 205,000 ratings on Goodreads. Like, holy shit. Next, I read The Spanish Love Deception by Elena, and it was a 4-star again. Like, it was good, but it just did not reach that 5-star, like, incredible, amazing, unstoppable, like, bar. I talked about this in my last video, but I hated the way that she wrote the dialogue a lot, like super descriptive. Like, people don't often in real life describe things like they did in this book. For example, just like a random excerpt. There was no room for failure. He worked hard on turning me into this flawless football machine, which he'd carefully assembled together since the moment my legs were strong enough to run after a ball and my hands were large enough to hold one. Like, real men don't talk like that in real life. Like, it just kind of irritated me because it just sounded way more like prose or inner monologue than actual dialogue, that things that people say out loud. Like, no one talks like that in real life. And next is You Deserve Each Other, which is a very, very popular rom-com. 4 stars, but honestly like a 3.5. I enjoyed the character progression and like the relationship arc. Like, when I first started the book, I did not really like either of the characters, which is, I think, what's supposed to happen. And then as the book went on, I was like, you know what, they're pretty nice, like they're pretty good, whatever. But it just was not like super good. And it felt like shitty. Like they were super shitty to each other, which I know is what was supposed to happen, but like even towards the middle, and it was just a letdown, honestly. I did not care for it as much as I could have, and I just didn't feel like the sexual tension, like there was a little bit, but not a lot, and I know like they're already married, so like no sexual tension, but like I wanted that and I didn't get it. So it was like a 3.7, 3.6, 3.5, something like that. I also reread The Hating Game. My favorite romance ever. So fucking good. Like the way this is written, I don't even have words. Like it is my favorite romance book ever. And the thing is if someone walked into my apartment right now, like my mom, and she was like, we're going on a road trip, you can bring one book, this would be the book I would bring, because it just like, I can read it a million times and not get tired of it. Like the moment I finished rereading it, I was like, should I read it again? Like, hello? It's so fucking good. I love it so much. Josh and Lucy are my everything. I know the second that movie comes out, I do not care how bad it is. I do not care like who the actors are. I'm going to watch that movie every day for the rest of my life. Next was The Unhoneymooners. You guys are not gonna like what I have to say about this one, but I did not like it. I gave it 3 stars because I liked the beginning and I was very like positive of the way it was headed, but I just did not get that. I did not get like the romance that I was expecting. It was such a big letdown. Like towards the end of the trip in the book, and then when they go back home, it fucking sucked. I fucking hated the love interest. He was so stupid, and like he didn't believe her about his brother hitting on her, and he was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? I don't think you're right. And like the thing is at the end of a romance book, it's supposed to be like he'd do anything for her, he'd believe her like about anything at all, and just didn't happen. It was just honestly a pretty shitty ending, and I absolutely despised it, and there was nothing interesting about either of the characters. Like, next I read Under Locke by Mariana Zapata. I folded this while I was reading it, so it looks kind of fucked, but whatever. It was decent. It was pretty good. This was the second book of Mariana Zapata's that I've read that wasn't sports romance, and so it was a bit different. I loved that this book had the characters meeting and like talking to each other by like pretty early in the book, literally like one of the first few pages. I loved that because usually Mariana Zapata doesn't even like let the characters talk until like page 150, which is infuriating. So this was really good, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Iris and Dex were super fucking cute. I loved the amount of jealousy and possession in this book, so that hit different. But yeah, I don't want to go on too much about it, but it was pretty good. I liked the motorcycle stuff. I got bored of it, but I liked that there were more than just one sex scene. Like there was like 7, and I did like that, so 4 stars. Next is The Hollow Heart by Marie Rutkoski, and this was the second book in the Midnight Lie, or like the Forgotten Gods duology, and I didn't like it as much as the first book. It felt very different in terms of like the tone and the way she centered the book. Like this just seemed centered around like the story and the plot rather than the characters, which is what the first book was kind of centered around, was like character development and like whatever. But it was good, and I liked it because I fucking love Marie Rutkoski's writing. Like it's so beautiful and just gorgeous that I can't help but love it, but I really wish she had stuck to the same type of writing as she did in the first book. And then also we did not get as much romance as the first book. Like this was like pining, yearning, heartbreak, and not as much like romantic scenes as in The Midnight Light. Still loved it though. I rated it 5 stars because Sid and Niram are my everything, and I think it would make a absolutely perfect movie duology. All right, that is it for my wrap up. As you can see, I read a fuck ton of books this month. I'm so close to finishing my yearly goal, and it's only October, so I'm super fucking excited. But without further ado, no pleasantries, let's get into my October TBR. I have like no spooky books to read during October. I have like 1 or 2, so sorry about that. This isn't gonna be like a horror thriller TBR, it's gonna be a romance TBR. But first is Wait For It by Mariana Zapata. This book is huge, and I'm pretty excited to read it. Like, I just want to get through all of Mariana Zapata's books. Like, her romances never like absolutely fail for me. The lowest I've rated one of her books is 3 stars, and I still didn't hate it, and I liked a lot of it. The only thing that I am not looking forward to is the single parent trope, and whatever, I guess, like I'll try it. Like, reluctantly I will read a single parent book with children in it, because I've seen a lot of people saying that their favorite Mariana Zapata love interest is Dallas, who is the love interest for this book, and I want to know. I want to know, like, the secret. Like, what is it? When Ivan Lukov exists, why is this guy a lot of people's favorite? But yeah, super excited to read it, and I will let you guys know what I think next month. Hopefully by then I will have finished all of Mariana Zapata's books, because I really want to do a video ranking them all. Like, I want to do it so bad, and I already have like the majority of them read. Like, I've read 7, I think, so here's to that. Next, I do want to fit in at least 1 thriller into this month. So I'm glad I saved this and haven't read it yet, but Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand, something like that. And I am super fucking excited. I've had this book for ages. The cover kind of reminds me of Wilder Girls, which is another thriller that I read like a year and a half ago. That wasn't that great and was kind of boring. I'm really hoping that I get some good blood and gore and maybe a romance. Who knows? We'll see. I think it's sapphic, so maybe, but I'm very excited to read it. I want at least 1 spooky, like, thriller, like, nasty little book to read this month, and maybe I'll read it towards the end of the month where people are talking more about, like, Halloween, and like just the vibes are better. Like, it's colder, it's not fucking 90 degrees because I live in Texas, so maybe I'll wait until like the end of October to do that. Next, I want to read Not My Type by Evie Mitchell, which is a romance coming out. When I post this, it'll already be out, because it's coming out tomorrow in real time. So when I post this, it'll already be out, and I'm so fucking excited. I've been looking forward to this book for like 2 months, ever since I figured out what it was. Someone told me about it, and I was like, that sounds fucking incredible. So I'm very excited to dive into that book. It is about a radio show host, and her show is about sex, and she is in a wheelchair, and the love interest is a like carpenter, like a rigger, like he works with manly man stuff. And then someone asks the main character about bondage, and she doesn't like have any answers about how like the best ways to do it are. And so she asks this guy, and like she goes to him, and he's like a whore and he never wants to settle down, and she's like, super emotional and wants to be in a relationship and is like a hopeless romantic. So that's like my favorite type, is when the guy is a whore and he does, like, he's scared of settling down, but he'd do it for her. Like, perfect. I'm very excited. And then I'm also like dying to read these, but the Brown Sisters trilogy, I don't have the first book yet, so I really need to get on that because I want it so bad. These books look incredible. Everything I've heard about them, like, they show up on my TikTok For You page, and everything I've heard about them is like perfect. I need to read them. They sound so fucking good. And I'm very excited. I ordered the first one and it should be here in the next 2 days. And I'm gonna do a reading vlog of the whole trilogy, and I'm very excited. It'll be my second reading vlog ever. So lovely, super cool, super fun. Cannot wait to get into this series because it looks so good. Next is The Bronzed Beast by Roshani Chokshi. I would have read this already because it was on my September TBR, but my Barnes & Noble hadn't had it and I just didn't think to order it online until like 5 minutes before I started filming. So once it gets here and after I read the Brown Sisters, I'm gonna read The Bronzed Beasts, which is the third book in the Gilded Wolves trilogy, and I have not seen any spoilers whatsoever, like at all, and I'm so scared about what's gonna happen. The fact that I haven't seen like any crazy spoilers leads me to believe that some of my theories may have been wrong, because if they had actually happened, I feel like I would have seen chaos everywhere. So it leads me to believe that maybe this will be a lot less painful than I thought it would be, but I'll let you guys know after I read it. And lastly is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Random book that I found at Barnes & Noble, and it looks really good. I love, love, love office romances. Nothing will live up to the office romance that is The Hating Game, but I can try to get there. This isn't rated very well on Goodreads, but I just really fucking wanted it, and I just wanted like a good office romance. I don't care if it's rated not very well on Goodreads. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. Hopefully it's good. If it's not, I'll let you guys know. And that is it for my September wrap up and October TBR. I'm honestly probably gonna end up reading more books than I have planned, but I don't know which ones I'm gonna read after these ones. Like, I have this planned and then I'm just going to do what I want, probably. So I will let you guys know next month what I do end up reading after all the books that I mentioned. Please let me know if you've read any of the books that are on my TBR and what you thought of them. Like, please go leave that comment below because I super want to know if you guys liked any of those books or hated them, so I know what to expect. Like, I really don't know what to expect going into any of these books, because I haven't seen too many reviews about them, and the ones that I have seen are like mixed, so there's no like definite opinion on any of them. But yeah, that was it for this video. My next video is going to be a reading vlog for the Brown Sisters trilogy, or another video if I don't finish filming that. It just depends. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked what I had to say, make sure to give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel. I would super appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm literally so close. I can taste it. I'm only like 60 away. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.